The way we were able to assist the protesters getting off the bridge was to set up our own rope system that crossed the bridge, hence the reason why we needed the bridge shut down, so that there was no cars or pedestrians interfering with those rope systems as we ended up lowering ourselves down to where the protesters were. Now, the first protester, as we started over the edge and approached him, he chose to rappel on his own then down to the Multnomah County Sheriff's boat below. The second protester, once we notified her that we were coming over the edge, she also elected to rappel on her own system down to the Multnomah County Sheriff's boat. The third protester decided to not communicate with us, so we went ahead and went over the side with a firefighter, went down to where the ropes were connected and anchored. We attached our ropes to their ropes and then disconnected their ropes from their anchor and then lowered them safely down to the Multnomah County Sheriff's boat below. Now, all of this was done after we went down and cut the ropes that were between the protesters. Those ropes were not safety ropes. They were not used to retain the weight of the protesters. Those were there to keep the ship from going between the protesters. So with us removing those, it took no safety away from the protesters that were hanging off the bridge.
Which firefighters were involved in this, and what type of training do they have?
We used our technical rescue rope team, who trains year-round on removing individuals from Rocky Butte, from off of buildings within the city of Portland, and off of bridges. So they're highly trained individuals that they were the right people for this job.
How delicate of an operation was this?
It's a complex operation because you're 205 feet above the ground, and it's important to do it very carefully and slowly. That's part of the reason why we waited until everyone who was involved in the operation was all on the same page with the same plan, so that we could safely work with the protesters to move them off the bridge.
And how many were dangling from the bridge, and what happened after those three?
After the three were removed from that section, and then the Fennica proceeded past the bridge, then the rest of the protesters elected to rappel down off of those ropes on their own.
2 fireboats?
I don't know which boat they ended up on.
Did any of the protesters try to resist you guys or fight back in any way?
No, they were peaceful and cooperative as we interacted with them.
Was there also an incident on the railroad?
I could speak to that. All right. There was on the railroad bridge to the south of the St. John's Bridge, there was an individual who locked himself to the bridge using I believe a bike lock. Portland police officers went over there with railroad personnel also came, and they were able to cut the lock off rather quickly, remove that person from the railroad bridge, which allowed it to raise up. On the St. John's Bridge, we had members of our Special Emergency Reaction Team working with Portland Fire and Rescue on the rope rescue. You know, it's a very complex operation, as I think Lieutenant Tyler outlined, and it's a law enforcement operation as well as a rescue operation, and our #1 priority was safety of everybody involved. So it really was something remarkable to bring all these resources together and manage this incident in a safe manner.
Will these protesters face charges, or is that up to ODOT?
That's still being determined. There's a number of people that have been detained on the bridge, that came off of the bridge, and certainly a number of people that came into boats off of the water. That is all being worked out. We do know a number of people have been detained. Ultimately, some may face charges, may be arrested, some may be released, but that's still being worked out.
Greenpeace said 4 people have been cited.
I don't have numbers yet. You know, we're working with our law enforcement partners, with state police and the sheriff's office, to work through that because it is multiple jurisdictions involved.